Hello, this is Stephen at shortseasongarden.com, and today I want to talk about buying seeds. Buying seeds is one of my favorite parts of gardening. I enjoy that almost as much as working in the garden. It's almost like Christmas all over again to flip through the seed catalogs, flip through the internet, pick what you're going to buy. And of course, you don't have to have a seed catalog or the internet. You can go to your local big box store or your supermarket, your hardware, and they'll all have seeds available in the springtime. The trouble is you won't have as much selection. You really can't look at a catalog and see what all the different varieties are that are available and all the intricacies of each, and it's probably in the long run going to cost you more. It's fine for a few packages, but it's not really the ideal way to buy all of your seeds. It's a lot more convenient to go to the internet. You can go to your favorite seed catalog online, and they'll have vegetables. So you can I'll go to look at corn, for example. And so I can scroll down through all the varieties of corn. And so I'll pick one here, and it tells me all the ins and outs of that variety. Then I can hit my back button, and I can go down and find another kind and see what it had to say about that one. Uh, that works all right, but I guess I'm a little bit old school. I find it easier to use a seed catalog. So you can usually on their site, you can find where they have a free catalog that you can order and request their catalog. And that's my favorite method. With a seed catalog, you can look at all the varieties of each particular crop at a glance. You can look at all the corn. There's several pages of corn. Okay, you've got all kinds of corn, sweet corn. It's all sweet corn, but some synergistic, some sugary enhanced. There's different varieties of corn. Carrots the same way. You've got several pages of carrots. So you can look at all the different varieties all on the same page, and it's much easier than flipping back and forth on a website. You've got all your cauliflower, your cabbage, your broccoli. You've got all kinds of different varieties, and so it's much easier just to look at your seed catalog, and then once you've got your order made up, then you can go online and order your product. So whether you're using the seed catalog or the internet, either one, you're going to want to look at all the information about each variety that you're interested in. You're going to look at things like flavor. Just get a pen up here so we can let's get a pen so we can talk. Okay, we got flavor. We want to look at the productivity of it. We want to see how disease resistance it is. Okay, all these are all things that you're interested in about each of the plants that you're buying. Notice that this one is an indeterminate plant, which means that it will grow to a large height and take a lot of space in your garden. We want to know if they're hybrids or if they're heirlooms. Heirlooms, you can save the seed from year to year. Hybrids, you're going to need to buy every year. So these are things you want to pay attention to. And you want to pay special attention to the days to maturity. Notice this one matures roughly in 68 days. So since this site is geared toward northern gardening, we have to pay a lot of attention to that because we have late spring frosts, we have early fall frosts, so you have to think about how many days do we have that are frost-free for plants like tomatoes, peppers, melons, cucumbers, squash, pumpkin, corn, string beans that don't stand any frost. So for plants like that, you're going to need to consider either starting them indoors for your tomatoes 6 to 8 weeks before you're going to set them out, or else buying your plants instead of buying seeds, buying your plants at a local nursery. And there's other plants as well that can stand the frost, but where the seeds are so tiny for broccoli, cauliflower, celery, cabbage, a lot of times it's advantageous to start the seeds inside or buy plants just because the seeds are so small. And then you've got your cucumbers, your squash, your pumpkin. You can start them outside after the last frost is done, but sometimes you may want to start them 3 or 4 weeks ahead inside. You get a jump on those. And of course, there's some plants, carrots, corn, beets, that don't transplant well. So you want to direct seed them right out in the garden. Now, some other things we need to think about besides what we've looked at is space constraints, because you're probably going to start small. So you need to think about things like that. So like when we're looking at squash, squash takes a lot of space, but you notice the sweet mama winter squash is a semi-bush type plant. So it's a bit compact. Um, okay, with your peas, you notice the taller varieties, you're going to have to fence them. They benefit from a fence, and of course, any pea will benefit from a fence. But if you have a dwarf variety, it's not quite so critical that you have a fence. Some other things to consider about space. Let's go back and look at this tomato again. I guess we already talked about how that if it's indeterminate, it's tall, it's going to take a lot of space. So you may want to look for something else that's determinate. In fact, this one will actually even you can even grow it in a hanging basket, so it doesn't take any space in your garden at all. Here's another plant here that's determinate. Okay, so these are all things that you need to consider. Okay, some other things you might want to consider is, for example, with your peas, with your different lettuces, you don't want to have to harvest them in 2 or 3 days and then have no crop for the rest of the summer. So a lot of times you can buy collections. If we look at this collection of peas, it has 3 or 4 different varieties. It has 3 varieties, I guess, Misty, Sabre, and Dalve, that are all different maturity dates. So they don't all come ripe at once. It kind of spreads out your season. Now, the other thing we need to talk about buying seeds is figuring out how many to buy. And a lot of times, for example, with peas, it gives a sowing rate in your seed catalog or on the internet. In this case, it takes 125 grams of seeds to do roughly a 30 or 35 foot row. So that gives you a rough idea how many seeds you want to buy.
When buying your seeds, you have to be careful not to order too many. I used to be a commercial gardener, and the last year or two that I planted commercially, I ordered a few too many seeds. As you can see, in 2017, I bought a big bag of beans, custard beans, and ordered too many. So it's a good idea to write the date that you you ordered the seeds, and if you keep them cool and dry, many seeds will last a long time. Peas, I ordered way too many peas that year as well, but that was the next year, 2018. So always put the date on the seeds. Some seeds don't keep well at all. I bought some corn last year and had some left. So I'm not sure it's going to be viable this year. So what I've done is I've put the corn I've taken the corn seeds, put them in paper towel, get the towel good and damp, put it in a Ziploc bag, and I put 10 seeds in here, and I'm going to just check and see. I'm going to take them out this morning. I'm going to cut the bag in front of the camera here, and I'm going to cut the bag open and take the seeds out. And we're just going to look here. I can see that some of them have sprouted. All right. Oh, look, a lot of them have sprouted. I think they've all sprouted. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe they've all sprouted. So I'm probably going to go ahead and use those seeds this year. But you have to be careful with some seeds. Just make sure they are viable.
You've looked at all the seeds, and you've jotted down what you're interested in, and you should be jotting down the number for each package as you go through. So when you're ready to order, in this case, you just go to quick order, and it gives you an easy spot to put in the product code. for the products you want, and it pops up a product, and you can add it to your cart, and then you can add a line, and just keep picking what you want. And once you're done, you can add all your items to your cart. So it's really pretty simple. Use this. I like to use the seed catalog, as I said, to pick what I want to grow. And then I go online to order them because it's so much easier and quicker to get your plants that way. So then all we have to do is sit and watch the mailbox. And it's so much fun to have Christmas come in February, March, April, whenever you get your seeds in. Obviously, you don't want to wait too late. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video about buying your seeds. And by all means, stop by shortseasongarden.com and look at all we have to offer.